today we begin with the second segment of the perineum. At the end of the lecture, the student should be able to discuss in detail about the superficial and the deep perineal pouches, the boundaries, contents, etc. Discuss in detail the perineal membrane and the pudendal canal. Right. So we can talk about the male urogenital region first, right? So as you can see, this picture is depicting the male on one side and the female on the other side. Okay. So the anterior division we all know of. This is the perineal region, the urogenital region over here. Okay. This is the part of the ischioanal fossa. This is the anal triangle. This is the urogenital triangle over here, right? You can see the anal opening over here, and on either sides we have the ischiorectal fossa. So we're going to focus on the urogenital region today, right? So this is containing a superficial and a deep perineal space or pouch. Before that, let's just read about the cutaneous innervation of the male perineum. We have the dorsal nerve of the penis supplying the skin of the penis except at its root, while the ilioinguinal nerve and the genital branch of the genitofemoral nerve is supplying the anterior one-third of the scrotum and the root of the penis. The perineal branch of the posterior cutaneous nerve of the thigh supplies the skin of the lateral part of the urogenital region and the posterior two-thirds of the scrotum. Right. So basically, they are derived from sacral nerves S24, S234, and they are also supplying the parasympathetic fibers to the pelvic organs. Thus, they can cause referred pain in the perineum, diseases of the organs lying in the pelvis. Right. So before that, courtesy anatomy anatomy shown by this video. Let's just again recapitulate the perineal area. Okay. So this is the bony pelvis, right? This is the diamond shaped perineum lying at the outlet of the pelvis, right? So this diamond shaped area is further divided into two areas. It is bounded by the coccyx on the posterior side, pubis symphysis on the anterior side, on either side by the ischial tuberosities. The two triangles are the anal and the urogenital triangle, but before that, this is depicting the pelvic diaphragm. This is the pelvic diaphragm consisting of the levator ani and the coccygeus. This is the levator ani. This is the sacrotuberous ligament arising from the sacrum to the ischial tuberosities. This is the conjoint ischiopubic rami over here, and is forming the boundary of the perineum. Here, this is again the diamond shaped structure, the perineum, right? So we have the urogenital triangle and the anal triangle. Okay, so now we know where the exact perineum lies, right? So this is the interposing femur. This is the perineal membrane, which is folded upon itself. This is presenting with two openings. This is a roughly triangular membrane, the perineal membrane, which we'll discuss in detail in this lecture. So above the perineal membrane, this pouch is the deep perineal pouch, depicted in purple. And below the pelvic diaphragm. On the lateral side, we have the ischioanal fossae. on either sides. You can see the lateral boundary is formed by the obturator internus muscle covering the obturator membrane. This is the external urethral sphincter, and we have the openings for the urogenital organs in this perineal membrane. This is called the urogenital hiatus. Below the perineal membrane and the Colles fascia, this space is called the superficial perineal pouch, depicted in green. Right? Which contains the bulbospongiosus muscle, the ischiocavernosus, and the superficial transverse perineal muscles. That is the content of the superficial perineal pouch, depicted in green, in between the Colles fascia and the perineal membrane. So these are your deep and superficial perineal pouches. Right, so this is a fibromuscular node intervening. This is called the perineal body. Interlacing of various muscles take place over here, which we have done previously. You can see the superficial transverse perineum, the anal sphincter, the bulbospongiosus, also the deep perineum muscles. Okay, so now that we have an idea regarding where exactly are the superficial and the deep perineal pouches or space, let's first come to the superficial fascia. Okay, so the superficial fascia of the urogenital region is comprising of the superficial layer of the lower part of the anterior abdominal wall over here. Okay, so you can see this is the superficial abdominal fascia, like this, right? It has two layers, the superficial fatty and the deep membranous. The superficial fatty layer is continuous with the superficial fascia of the surrounding structures, as you can see, okay, in red. Right. So this fascia had a superficial fatty layer and a deep membranous layer, right? These two layers are coming from the abdomen. They are the extensions of the layers of the abdomen. The deep membranous layer is also called the Colles fascia, right? We did Colles fascia just previously. Between the Colles fascia and the perineal membrane, we have the superficial perineal pouch. Okay, so this is attached posteriorly to the posterior border of the perineal membrane, right? So can you see this? This is your perineal membrane over here, and this is the attachment. Okay, this is your superficial fascia with the fatty layer and the deep membranous layer called the Colles fascia, right? This is your perineal membrane, as you can see, and it is attached posteriorly to the posterior border of the perineal membrane and on each side to the pubic arch below the crux of penis. Now, anteriorly, this is continuous with the fascia of the scrotum, as you can see, containing the dartus muscle, and with the membranous layer of the superficial fascia of the anterior abdominal wall or the fascia of Scarpa, right? And the deep layer is the fascia investing the superficial muscles of the perineum, right? So let us see what this deep fascia is all about. It is made up of one layer, unlike the superficial fascia that had two layers, the fatty layer and the membranous layer. The deep fascia is one layered, right? That is lining the deep perineal space inferiorly. Okay? The fascia, this fascia of the urogenital diaphragm is quite thick, and it is also called the perineal membrane. This is the perineal membrane, right, which is the deep fascia. Coming to the boundaries, the urogenital diaphragm bounded, you already know, by the interischial line, which usually overlies the posterior border of the transverse perineal muscles. Anteriorly and laterally, it is bounded by the pubis symphysis and the ischiopubic rami over here. Okay, urogenital region extends superficially to encompass the entire scrotum and the root of the penis, and this area is further divided by two parts into a strong perineal membrane that you have seen previously. Okay, this is your perineal membrane over here. So above it lies the deep perineal space, and below it lies the superficial perineal space, as you have seen previously. There's something called a subcutaneous perineal space that is lying between the membranous and layer and the fascia investing the superficial muscles. Okay, it is contained of thin connective tissue and expands only when some fluid gets collected into it. So coming to the superficial perineal pouch, this is a space of the urogenital region that is situated superficial to the perineal membrane. Again, I repeat, this is your perineal membrane over here, perineal membrane. Okay? So this entire area, superficial to it, is the superficial perineal pouch. This is the perineal membrane. This is your superficial perineal pouch. Now, the boundaries of the superficial perineal pouch. Superficially, we have the Colles fascia, that is the deep membranous layer of the superficial fascia, right? Then deep we have the perineal membrane. On either side we have the ischiopubic rami. Posteriorly, it is closed by fusion of the perineal membrane with the Colles fascia. Anteriorly, open and continuous with the space of the scrotum and the penis or the clitoris and the anterior abdominal wall. So this is your perineal membranes. So this entire area over here is your superficial perineal pouch, right? Superficial to the deep perineal membrane. So coming to the contents of the superficial perineal pouch, ये रही हमारी perineal membrane and all the area between the Colles fascia and the perineal membrane is the superficial perineal pouch, right? It contains of root of penis made up of two corpora cavernosa and one corpus spongiosum, which is traversed by the urethra in males. This is a male perineum. Okay, this is the bulb of the penis, right? In females, we will have the body of the clitoris made up of only two corpora cavernosa and one corpus spongiosum that is separated by an incomplete septum, right? So this is the first content of the superficial perineal pouch. Okay? So in females, the corpus spongiosum is absent. The urethral orifice lies 2 centimeters behind the clitoris. The vaginal orifice lying behind the urethral orifice in females. The two bulbs of the vestibule on either sides, and they are united and get attached to the glans clitoris. Okay, so coming to the muscles of the superficial perineal pouch, we have seen previously it contains of bulbospongiosus, right? Ischiocavernosus and the superficial transverse perineum in both male and female. Ischiocavernosus covering the corpora cavernosa of the penis or the clitoris, right? The bulbospongiosus covering the corpus spongiosus, both are united by median raphe in males. Okay, but bulbospongiosis in female covers the bulb of the vestibule and they remain separated throughout to give passage to the urethra and vagina in females. And then lastly, we have the superficial transverse perineum in both. Okay, so again, I'd like to repeat, This is the perineal membrane. This is the Colles fascia over here. This entire is the superficial perineal pouch. It contains the muscles, okay, consi, the ischiocavernosus and the crux of penis in case of males, right? We also have the membranous, we also have the intrabulbar fossa, the bulbospongiosus, right? Coming to the nerves, you can see over here, there are three sets of branches from the perineal nerve. The posterior scrotal nerves, you can see over here, branch to the bulb and the muscular branches. In case of females, we'll have the posterior labial nerve, branch to bulbar vestibule and the muscular branches. We also have the long perineal nerve from posterior cutaneous nerve of thigh in both. So coming to the vessels, there are two branches of the perineal artery, posterior scrotal, labial and transverse perineal. Four branches from the artery of penis to the bulb, urethral artery, deep dorsal arteries of penis in case of females, artery to bulbar vestibule, urethral, deep dorsal arteries of the clitoris. The glands and ducts opening into the superficial perineal space. This is the ducts of the bulbourethral gland in females and the greater vestibular gland and the ducts in females. The bulbourethral gland in males. I'm sorry, I had said the opposite previously. Okay, so let's see this again. We all know what the superficial perineal pouch is here between the Colles fascia and the deep perineal membrane. The boundaries, superficially we have the Colles fascia, deep perineal membrane, either side by the ischiopubic rami, posteriorly closed by the fusion of the perineal membrane with the Colles fascia, anteriorly open with the spaces of the scrotum, penis, and the anterior abdominal wall. Contains root of penis or body of clitoris, made up of corpora cavernosa, one corpus spongiosum. Okay, muscles are the ischiocavernosus, bulbospongiosus, and the superficial transverse perineum. Right? There are three sets of nerve: posterior scrotal or labial nerve, branch to bulb or vestibule, and muscular branches, along with long perineal nerve. Vessels from the perineal artery, posterior scrotal or labial, transverse perineal. Four coming from the artery of the penis or the clitoris to the bulb, urethral artery, deep and dorsal arteries. Glands, duct of bulbourethral gland in males and the greater vestibular gland in females. So coming to the muscle number one, which is the ischiocavernosus. This is the ischiocavernosus covering the crux of penis or the crux of clitoris. It is smaller in females. It is arising from the medial surface of the ischial rami. You can see the ischial rami and the posterior part of the perineal membrane. Right? Fibers are running forward and spiral over the crux, inserted by an aponeurosis into the undersurface of the anterior part of crux, supplied by perineal branch of the pudendal nerve, and it is helpful in maintaining erection. Coming to the bulbospongiosus muscle covering the bulb of the penis. This is bulbospongiosus, and two muscles are united by a median raphe, okay, arising from the perineal body and the median raphe over the bulb. In females, covering the bulb of the vestibule, and the two muscles are separated, right? United by median raphe in males, but they are separated by the vagina and the urethra in the female. Okay, they're arising from the perineal body, both of them. The fibers in females pass anteriorly. In males, we have anterior, middle, and posterior fibers. Okay, they are all attaching on to the perineal membrane, body, and the bulb, right, supplied by the perineal branch of the pudendal nerve. Okay, it is helpful in ejaculation. Coming to the superficial transverse perineum muscle, narrow slip running transversely. Okay, Now they are arising from the medial surface of the root of the ischial ramus. The fibers are running medially, inserting onto the perineal body with interlacing muscles supplied by the perineal branch of the pudendal nerve, and it is helpful in steadying the perineal body. Okay, you can see over here. This is the corpus cavernosus, corpus spongiosum. This is the bulbospongiosus muscle, ischiocavernosus, right? Okay, and this is again the superficial perineal fascia. This is the perineal membrane. So this entire is your superficial perineal pouch. So coming to the deep perineal space, now the previous view held that there is one particular urogenital diaphragm, okay, and that is had the superior fascia and an inferior fascia. The space between the superior fascia of the urogenital diaphragm and the perineal membrane that had contained the urethra and the urethral sphincter. But the present view says the this urethral sphincter is now known to be contained within the urethra itself, within the wall of the urethra, and not between the two layers. Okay? So, this urogenital diaphragm, it doesn't really exist. The deep perineal space is thin and it is open above. Okay? So, we have a perineal membrane, but there is no urogenital diaphragm which was thought to exist previously. So coming to the boundaries of the deep perineal membrane pouch, the deep aspect, this is the perineal membrane. Between the Colles fascia and the perineal membrane, we have the superficial perineal pouch. Now, above the perineal membrane here, right, and between the endopelvic fascia over here, this entire is your deep perineal pouch. Okay, superficially we have the perineal membrane, deep we have the endopelvic fascia. Between these two layers lie the deep transverse perineum that is superficial to the proximal urethral mechanism and the pubourethralis. ये क्या है हम आगे बात करते हैं. Here, so this is the perineal membrane. Okay, so the area above this is your deep perineal pouch, right? Perineal membrane, and between the Colles fascia this was superficial perineal pouch. Perineal membrane beyond is the deep perineal pouch. Okay, so like I said, previous view held that the sphincter urethrae extended between the two ischiopubic rami and was pierced by the urethra, but now the sphincter urethrae lies within the wall of the urethra as the distal urethral sphincter. So these muscles are not forming a true diaphragmatic sheet because some fibers from several parts are extending throughout the visceral outlet in the pelvic floor into the lower reaches of the pelvic cavity. So there is no sphincter urethral lying outside the urethra. Therefore, no urogenital diaphragm is existing anymore. It was never existing. This is a new concept. Okay. So coming to the definition of the deep perineal pouch, this is a thin space of the urogenital region situated deep to the perineal membrane contributing to the pelvic floor. Its boundaries are superficially we have the perineal membrane. It is open above. On each side we have the ischiopubic rami, and anteriorly there is a gap between the perineal membrane and the inferior pubic ligament. So what does the deep pouch contain? Okay, it contains part of the urethra and vagina in females. Coming to the muscles, contains sphincter urethrae or distal urethral mechanism within the wall of the urethra in both male and female. The deep transverse perineum muscles, right? It is basically a skeletal muscle in male but smooth in female. Compressor urethrae in female and sphincter uretrovaginalis in female. What are these muscles? We'll discuss further on. Right. So you can see this is the muscle of the deep area, right? This is the perineal membrane over here. Okay, so this is a cut section. You can see we have the deep transverse perineal muscle. We have the compressor urethra surrounding the urethra. Okay, this is more clear, I think. This anteriorly lies the urinary bladder, and then we have the urethral opening. Posteriorly, we have the vaginal opening. So the sphincter urethrae is this muscle within the wall of the urethra that is helping in the sphincteric action. And then we have a compressive urethral muscle over here, which is helpful in micturition. We also have a sphincter along this area over here called a sphincter uretrovaginalis. It is a sphincter between the urethra and the vagina, right? So these are all the contents of the deep perineal pouch in female. So the nerves, again, we have the dorsal nerve of penis or the clitoris over here, and then we have the muscular branches from the perineal nerve. Okay, so the deep transverse perineum, you can see it is an incomplete sheet of muscle extending across the urogenital triangle from the medial aspect of the ischiopubic rami. Posteriorly, sheet attached to the perineal body over here. This is the perineal body where the fibers decussate with the opposite side. So the anteriorly the muscles are deficient and the visceral structures pass across the endopelvic fascia and the perineal membrane. Some fibers pass deep to the external anal sphincter posteriorly and the sphincter urethra that we have seen previously. Here. So together with the superficial transverse perineal muscles, these muscles are helpful in holding the perineal body in the median plane, giving dynamic support to the pelvic viscera, and they are all supplied by the perineal branch of the pudendal nerve and vessels. Okay. So we came across this term called the distal urethral sphincter mechanism. Okay. So what is it? Basically consisting of intrinsic striated smooth muscles of urethra and the pubourethralis component of levator ani. You must have done the parts of the levator ani. So one part is the pubourethralis, as the name suggests. This is the muscle that is surrounding the urethra at the point of maximum concentration of the muscles. Okay, so this is your distal urethral mechanism. Okay, and this is the part of the pubourethralis that is surrounding the urethra. Okay, and surrounding the urethra basically in male. This is a male urethra. So the smooth muscles fibers reach up to the lowest part of the neck of the bladder, and between the two, the fibers lie opposite the surface of the prostate. What is prostate gland? We'll discuss further on. Okay, so the bulk of fibers surround the membranous urethra over here. They are circularly disposed striated muscle fibers, and this is called the rhabdosphincter, which is basically forming the main part of the distal urethral sphincter mechanism. Okay, the rhabdosphincter, and attached to the inner surface of the ischiopubic rami, forming the compressor urethrae. Okay, you can see this compressor urethrae over here. Circularly predisposed fibers called the rhabdosphincter muscle. Okay. So coming to the perineal membrane, what is it basically? We have read so much about the perineal membrane, the superficial pouch in front of it and the deep pouch behind it. So this membrane is basically a triangular membrane laterally attached to the periosteum of the ischiopubic rami. This is the ischiopubic rami over here. The apex attached to the awkward ligament of the pubis, where the membrane is attached and it is particularly thick, and here it is called the transverse perineal ligament. The posterior border is fused to deep parts of the perineal body over here and continuous with the fascia over the deep transverse perineal muscle. Here, this is your perineal membrane over here. Okay. So, what is the importance of perineal membrane? We have seen in terms of its boundaries with the pouches, but it is also pierced by certain structures. Okay, so we have the urethra. You can see we have the urethral opening that is 2 to 3 centimeter behind the inferior border of the pubic symphysis, artery to the bulb of the penis, duct of bulbourethral glands, the muscular branches to muscle, deep artery of the penis, the urethral arteries, posterior scrotal or labial vessels, which lie anterior to the transverse perineum. Okay, so this is the first part. Next part will be done in the next video. Thank you.